So guys, let us look at sizing and spacing in CSS. So in sizing and the spacing, we are going to look at majorly how we can set the width and the height of elements. Every element in CSS has a size usually defined by the width and the height. Okay, the width and the height. So, but sizing isn't just about fixed values. You can use relative units, okay, percentages, and even responsive functions like clamp. Okay, you can use those ones. You also have the max width, the min width, and the max height and the min height. For example, here we can have the div styling. Like here we can have you have the width, you can have the width, you can have the max width, the min width. Okay, you can also have the height, you can have the height, the min height, and the max height for maximum and then for minimum. Okay, and these are great for responsive controls, the min, the max, okay, and the max. Okay, so for example, here we can have the image. Let me get certain image here. Let me get an image here from control new. Okay, so I want to get an image here. So for example, when I go in the pictures and I pick an image here, let me copy it and let me paste it here. Okay, paste it there. Okay, so when I paste it there, we are going to start using it. So for example, here let us transport it here, img here, source we have from here, it is right there, then art nothing. Okay, so here we are going to get our image. So here let us get the image, the img, okay, let us get the img. Let's get that img, then we are going to give it a width of 100%, and we are going to give it the max width, which is like 500 pixels, like that. Okay, so here it has been rendered, and remember we said that we set it to 100%. Okay, we set it to 100%, so it is like this. Okay, that's our image, and it has been rendered like this. And this one keeps the image responsive but never too big. Okay, but never too big. Okay, so here we can give it like, let us give it 200, like this, 200, but here we set it, so let us give it like Ctrl Z. Here let us give it like 50. Okay, 50, like that. We give it a width which is like this one, then we give it another maximum width. Okay, can give it like that. Okay, so let us look at absolute versus the relative units. Okay, so let us talk about the units, because they matter a lot in spacing and sizing. Okay, so the first one, the absolute units, these are fixed and they don't change with the screen size, the absolute units. Okay, so for example, the pixels, which are the most commonly used ones, and others which are physical, the inch, the cm for centimeters, and the millimeters. Okay, and these and the print based units. Okay, well, okay, which are rare in web. Okay, so we have these ones. We can also use them. We can also use them like the pixels here, as we used it. The pixels, px here. Okay, px here, as we have used it. Okay, so let us look at the relative units, and these ones scale based on other elements or the viewport. Okay, so for example, we have the percentage, and this one is based on the parent. Okay, and I'll have the em which is relative, this one it scales relative to the current font size. Okay, and we have the rem which scales relative to root font size, which is the HTML. Okay, so we have another one. We have others which are the VW, which is the viewport width, and VH for viewport height. Okay, these ones they scale relative to viewport width or height. Okay, we have another one which is the FR, and this one is used in CSS grid. Okay, so let us take a look at this one. So we have here, let us have a div here, an empty div which says hello. Okay, so inside this div we can have the width which is around let us set here like 50%. Yeah, and let us have a padding. Let us have a padding which is like 2 rem. Okay, and let us have a font size, which is like 1.2 rem, 2m. Yeah, let us use m. So if we have it like that, and oh, we didn't set the background. Okay, so background, let us set the background color to be blue. I like blue. Okay, so like this, and it will look like this, something like this. Okay, and here, because we have set the width to be 50%, okay, it is going to be like this, 50%, the parent. Okay, the parent, they set the width of the parent. Okay, so the tips that I can give you is that you should use rem for spacing, and it is predictable and scales consistently. So let us look at the box model review. Okay, the box model review. Okay, and I think you looked at it in the previous videos. So let us make a review. So before we dive deeper into spacing, let's quickly review the CSS box model, which starts with the margin, border, padding, and then the content. So the content, which is the actual size of the element. Okay, and the padding, the space inside the box, and the border, which outlines the element. Okay, outlines the element, and the margin, this one, space outside. Yeah, space outside the element. Okay, it is the space outside the element. Okay, and let's look at spacings. Spacing in CSS is controlled by padding, margin, and sometimes gap. Okay, gap when you are using flex or grid. Okay, so let us look at padding and margins. Okay, padding, this one adds space inside the element, pushing the content away from its edge. Okay, the padding. Okay, this one, padding. Okay, so for example, let us set like 20 pixels. 20 pixels. Okay, so this one, when we set 20 pixels, let us set too small, like 100 pixels, like that. Like that. Okay, this one will be 100 pixels from the edges. Okay, of this one. Okay, 100 pixels from top, left to right, and even this side. Okay, like that. Like that. Okay, so this one, let us look at the margin, and the margin creates space outside the element, between other elements. Okay, so let us look at it. So margin, for example, we have margin. So the margin of this one, let us set like 50 pixels. Yeah, so that we can see, as you can see, the margins have been applied like that. 20 like some pixels here we set like what we set 50. Yeah, 50 pixels from top, and even this one, and left, and here right. Okay, like that. Okay, so let us take this one. We can also use there is also another one that we can use, another value, which is the auto. Yeah, which is the auto, and the auto is specific, is especially useful for centering block elements. Okay, centering block elements like this one, like this one, like the div. Okay, the div element that we are working with, the auto. Okay, as you can see, it is now centered. Okay, it is now centered here. 50, 50, 50. Okay, it is now centered, and even at the bottom 50. Okay, so let us see another one. Before we go to another one, this one, the margin, you should know that you can even specify for each side. Okay, like this one, margin, even the padding. So here you can specify. You can put values that specify the width or height, the space that you want to leave on the bottom side, on the left side, the right, and even on the top. Even on padding, it is the same on padding when using padding. Okay. So if you want to space between items, you should use the display. Okay. So for example here, we might have here multiple items here. So inside the div, we might have other divs. So Ctrl Z. So this div, let us have multiple divs. So we paste that one there, hello 2. So those are the divs. So we can have a parent div here, like this, and we copy it. Let us copy all these ones and we put them inside the parent div, like that. Okay, so if we put them inside, in order to space between items, remember these divs are the items. These divs are the items, these ones. So let me give it a class name. Parent. Okay, so we are going to style them, to style the items which are called the. Okay, let us see what is our code up to. So it is like this. It is like this. So if you want to style these items, these ones, we are going to style them like this. So what we are going to be doing, we are going to give them a display. So let us call the dot parent. So we are going to give them what? The display. Okay, let us give them a display which is flex, and then we give it a gap. We give the items a gap of like, let us give them 1 rem, like this one, 1 rem. And if we do this, we give them a gap like this, spacing. So we flex them. Yeah, so if we don't add this one, the gap, Ctrl X. Okay, so if we don't add a gap, they will just flex. Okay, they will just flex on each other. Okay, and if I put back the gap, this gap will help us to put that gap, okay, between those items, as you can see. Okay, between, so after these items there is a gap, after this item there is a gap, like that. Okay, so let us take a look at another concept which is the responsive sizing. Okay, in the responsive sizing, we use the view h for view port height, and the vw for view port width. Okay, so this one, when we are using VW, the view port width, this one is for full screen width, and the VH is for full screen height, viewport height. Okay, so let us try to use them. Okay, let us try to use them. Here we have these ones. Let us try to test it on our image. Okay, so here it has, let me put a width. Okay, width is 100 VW. Okay, VW, and even the height, it is let us say 100 VH, like that. Okay, and if we save, we get something which is like this. Okay, 100, as you can see, 100. As you can see, it is 100. Okay, 100. It fits here on the screen. The screen from here up to here, from the top of the browser here, of the browser window, this window where our content is displayed, up to the end here, the scroll end of the scroll bars. Okay, so that's it. That's how we can. There's also another one which is the crop, and this one I'm not going to look at it. Okay, we're not going to look at it. Okay, there is another one of use of the percentages. Okay, this is also helps, does the same width. Okay, percent, 100%. This one does the same, as you can see. Okay, but this one this one doesn't take the values, that doesn't complete the all space. It leaves some space, some simple space here, but it tries. So for example, even if I do this, as you can see, it leaves out some space which is reserved for the browser. The browser, it reserves it, as you can see. Even this one, the browser itself reserves this space, and we can remove it by using the width, which is the margin. Let us use margin. Let us first set it to 0 and we see. Oh no, let us, oh no, let us get it to the body. Okay, we can remove it like this. So let us call the body, let us access target the body. So let us set the width, oh no, the margin to be set to 0. Okay, so when we set to 0, as we can see here, this space is no longer reserved. Okay, as you can see, it is no longer reserved. Okay, so let us look at the best practices. So the best practices, we should use rem for consistent spacing, and we should use the px sparingly, mostly for borders, shadows, and many others, some simple others. Okay, so and we should combine the min width with the max width for responsive control. Okay, so we should also use gap instead of margin for layout spacing. Okay, and we should use the clamp function, that clamp function. It is CLAMP, and even the parenthesis, and the VW or VH for fluid responsiveness. We shall not use that. Okay, so that is it. Okay, that's about sizing and spacing in CSS.